All right. What it is, kiddies. Uh, welcome. Welcome to After Dark with Shawn Cornelius. I am your host, the romantic funny man, Shawn Cornelius. And I know you see me working some things over here, but I'm just getting ready for the show tonight because I got another fantastic guest that's going to join me. And I love this man like a brother. He's a talented musician. He's a talented singer. He's a teacher of music. One of the greatest guitar players I know, and I'm always great to have him on stage with me in the Legends of Soul band, the LOS band, which he has been a part of since 2017. This is going to be a very relaxed conversation, as they all are. But this man and I have become really, really great friends throughout the years. He's taught me so much, just me watching him and perform and play, and it's been great. It's been great, and I look for more things in the future of greatness. Please, ladies and gentlemen, welcome the very talented, just all around good person, my brother, Glenn D Gibson Sr. What's up, brother?
What's going on, my brother? As I say, my brother.
Yeah, man, everything is good, man. Thank you so much for sitting down with me.
I gotta thank you, man, because listen, you know, the man upstairs or whoever, Allah, God, the universe, whatever people want to call the greater entity, he has things in the plan. And I appreciate you, allowing me to be part of things that you're doing, turning me on to Tony and different things that you're doing. You know, I, I feel good about that, man. I really appreciate it. Seriously.
Well, that's how we're supposed to do when he does bring people into your life that are good people, and you're supposed to bless as you are being blessed, and you've definitely blessed me over the years, man. So, and we only met a few years ago, but it seems like we've been partners for a long time, man.
Yeah, true.
We've
That true, true,
we've done
true.
over 15 to 20 gigs together in 3 years.
Dang, I didn't know it was
Um,
that many.
yeah, man. Yeah, it goes back, but and just to have the brotherhood in the conversation, man, is really cool for me. So, there's some people out there that may not know who you are. So let's get past that stuff first,
All right.
and then we'll from time to time, Glenn, you're going to see me pop up the little conversations here and there from folks that are watching the show. Um,
I see
and
Tony. Tony's up in there.
yes, yes.
Of course, Denise. I just saw
Yes, right, right.
her.
So
Yeah.
it's gonna be a great time. So let's definitely get into it, man, and tell the folks where you hail from, Glenn's beginnings, and that kind of stuff.
Okay. Well, I was born and raised in Jamaica, Queens, the son of uh, two parents that one whose background is Trinidadian, which happens to be my father, and on my mother's side, she's uh, has her Cherokee Indian heritage from she's several. I think her great grandfather, grandmother,
Okay.
I believe. But
Hmm.
just speaking in terms of my my heritage, um, they were both from here, but just giving you the backdrop in terms of family, and Jamaica, Queens is where I was born and raised. Still in Jamaica. My primary passion, which is music, happens to have been started through a home that dealt with a lot of music. My father was a saxophonist, and both he and my mother, before I was even born, sang together. And I used to listen to some old reel to reel tapes of them doing some serious harmonies.
Right, right.
So even though my mother wasn't the musician, my father was.
Okay.
And so being raised up in music, like I said, on my father's side, Trinidad, my grandmother, we used to go to carnivals in this, which was in the city. I mean, I haven't been to Trinidad yet, and I'd like to go there. But
Hmm.
carnivals that were being celebrated, a lot of our people from the Caribbean, from the South,
Hmm.
but Caribbean, Jamaican, the islands came to America, New York, and they want to practice their culture to the degree that they're able to. So instead of going to carnivals in Trinidad, we had carnivals in Manhattan. They'd rent out a hall,
Yes.
and then they'd party. So I mean, I didn't necessarily want to go because I was a kid, wanted to stay home and do my thing. But we used to go, and after a while, I was like, oh, this is cool. Dancing to the calypso, to the soca.
Right.
That was my family heritage part of it. My musical taste, even though I still like that calypso stuff, my musical taste was R&B, soul, some rock, pop, so I was really grew up in a lot of different genres.
Okay.
In terms of the music,
Right. Well, we definitely share one thing first. I was born in Jamaica, Queens as well. You lived up in Linden, off of Linden Boulevard.
Yes.
So we share that. Maybe that's why the connection is.
That's probably so,
it's
right?
Pretty good. And all right, and you play in the guitar
for Emily. Yep.
For Emily.
For a mutual friend.
But you basically you do dibble dabble on other instruments.
Right.
And tell them about your other instruments you dibble dabble with.
Bass, secondarily. Drums is like I put that behind the bass. Drums I haven't played in many years, but I dabbled in that. In fact, I played drums in the high school band, and so my heart, which is in rhythms anyway, even though I'm a guitarist, my heart is I still have a rhythmic heart, and I love percussion and people who play percussion. So I appreciate that instrument. Percussion being part of trap drums, congas, timbales, but traps, which is the actual drum kit, anything dealing with that, I appreciate it as a musician in general,
right?
Though my instrument is carp. So bass is secondarily. I'm teaching that at a school now. I was always able to play bass, but the 6-string guitar is my primary. And then the vocals, is part of my mix,
Right. I was going to mention that, yes, because you do sing, and I kind of, you are that tenor behind my baritone,
right,
in the group, but
right.
you do a lot of it. You dibble dabble in a lot of it, and you do a lot of it well.
Oh, thanks. Thank you.
You do a lot of it well, man. So kind of speeding up our communication, because it's basically about us. We can mention some more things that you want to let the people know. We met 3 years ago through Emily Surtees, fantastic talent, fantastic singer at BB King's, and and your performance was so energetic, so great to me, man, that I was like, wow, because I'd already talked to Emily about doing my own tribute show, and I was looking to find musicians, and she was like, I got some of the hottest musicians in the city, and I was like, oh, okay. So I went to the show. You were up there, man, and you were jamming. You were throwing down. And I came up to you after the show and said, "Hey, man, I'm doing such and such."
Right. I remember. I remember clearly.
Yeah, and it was awesome, man, because you to me, I come from theater. I come from big performing big on stage, and that's what you have, man, and that performer. Where did that come from, man? What was that? Were you like this as a kid, the energy, or is something you developed on, going through it on stage and performances?
Shawn, that's a very interesting question, because to me, I consider myself to a degree introverted to a point. My natural nature is to be kind of to myself to agree. I don't consider myself antisocial. I mean, I like people. I like talking to people,
right.
But I'm still kind of a to myself kind of person. But years ago when we were kids, I'm gonna make this part real quick. Going back to the family thing, many years ago, my grandmother, and I told this to Tony when I was on her show, Tony Young. My grandmother used to bring home these Beatles records, and back then, you remember when the Beatles, what was called the British invasion.
Yes,
I mean, they weren't the only group, but the Beatles was it for the whole world.
Sure,
So not that the Beatles were the only thing people I listened to, but she used to bring those records home and turn us on to it. So between that and watching the Ed Sullivan Show, the Beatles, the Four Tops, all these groups, the Motown, Smokey Robinson, you know, all these people started in my soul, my heart. I'm saying to myself, I can do that.
Right, right.
You know, so guitar being my vehicle to express myself, that what you saw on stage,
yes,
is the inside of me coming out, manifested in that way.
Sure.
You know,
Sure.
it's like sometimes I hear people, and I'm not saying this because I hear this from other people, like, to use Michael Jackson as an example, I've heard him say in interviews, you know, that, you might see him all timid. Well, people look at him as being timid and all this stuff. But when he gets on stage,
yes,
he's even said, you know, that's my world.
Right.
So I'm just to use that as an example, I'm kind of like that in a way when I get on stage or perform, even if it's performing behind somebody where I know my place, it's still that I'm doing the music that I love,
right.
You know. So when it's my thing, or if, you know, I don't have my own group or anything, but when I'm allowed to shine, as you've allowed me to do in the LOS band, that's when I feel open to express myself.
Yeah,
you
no,
know,
it's an I totally understand it. I totally understand it because it's something. If you're not a performer, you may not understand. You know, Marvin Gaye used to say he used to get sick before he would go on stage every time. His stomach would just get, but when he hit that stage, those lights, the energy from the crowd, it's a different beast, man.
Right.
It's a different beast when that energy's
Right.
coming and you're looking out, you see all these people singing and swaying and just dancing and having a great time, and it hits you. And you're just like, okay, this is what it is.
Right. And then when you see him in an interview, it's not that you would see everything that's happening in his personal life, but he's so laid back and calm when he's talking, and, you know, and you would think that very likely that's how he is in his, you know, when he's off stage.
Right.
You know.
Right. Yeah, no, that's what it is for entertainers, pretty much all entertainers that can perform, and it's our free space. You know, Mike used to call it his second home, his home. He felt more comfortable on stage than he did out in public anywhere else.
Then he did social, in the social world.
Do that. Okay, so yeah, and I've definitely experienced that energy with you during our shows, man. So when you were doing your music career, what was your goal, man? Or it might still be something going on. What is your goal?
Wow, that's a good one. You know, it's so interesting. I saw a little bit of your interview with Miss Andress, and I didn't see the whole thing, but I saw a little bit of it. And it's something that y'all talked about following your. I'm kind of paraphrasing what I heard. It's like, you know, you have a 9-to-5 that you're doing because you kind of have to. And I'll tell you, man, I give props to like acquaintances and friends of mine that pursued music on a regular. Could have been working at a, you know, nice good gig and, you know, doing that. But I really give props to people who said, you know what, I'm going to follow that path. Me, what I did was I followed, which I still think to this day was good advice. My father used to bring home these applications for the exam. And I was telling Tony this in her show too, in the show that I was on with her, Tony Young show. I was saying, you know, listen, he was like, listen, y'all got to work. And my father was a musician, but he did the 9-to-5 thing too. So to swing back around to answer your question, my thing was always to be able to play my guitar and sing for whomever, not necessarily putting out my own product as a goal, but as time went on, if I saw myself fit to start composing or composing with somebody, that was fine too, as long as I'm still engaged in my music and doing it through guitar and voice. You know, I didn't really necessarily have a goal to, you know, I'm going to one day be, you know, win a Grammy. And, you know, it wasn't like that kind of thing. I just wanted to pursue my passion, my music passion, you know, pursue that part of my art. Because, you know, I'm also an artist when it comes to also the fitness and physical fitness thing. But that's another thing.
Right.
But as an artist musically, I didn't necessarily have a goal per se. It was just to be involved in the game. And as fate would take me, I would try to make wise decisions that would still allow me to still pursue the music and make the decisions that allow me to survive in it.
Yeah.
You see? So that's how it's been for me. And since I've been retired from my 9 to 5, you know, I can continue pursuing that music that I was still pursuing when I was working on the job.
Yeah, I mean, because sometimes a lot of us, when we set goals, it's to push us, it's to motivate us.
True.
You know, I did it. You know, when I started really getting into the music thing, it was like, yo, I want to write a #1 record. You know, I want to do music for a living. You know, I want to travel around and I saw the Jackson 5, I saw the New Editions, I saw the Temptations, I saw that, and I was passionate about music. I'm like, that's what I want to do.
Right.
Later on in life, you know, obviously God shows you what his plan was.
That's right.
But it was crazy how, not with my group, I was able to do things now, and then met you guys, and here it is doing certain things. And that's what I want to say. So if you say you do it for the love of it, and you let the chips fall where they may.
It's pretty much, you know, I mean, I've always wanted to be out there. Like, you know, like I had friends of mine that perform with, you know, the big shots like New Edition and Janet Jackson. I had, you know, friends that I knew from the hood that have done well in the music industry, not necessarily becoming a big time famous artist themselves, but being able to survive on that celebrity level, but behind the scenes, because people don't know. And that's not just with just music. There's a lot of people that could be so-called known, famous, but are doing just as well as the people that are famous. And it's not about being famous. It's about being able to put a roof over your head and live very comfortably doing your passion.
Doing what you do. But now you've worked with several names.
Yeah, a few.
You know?
Yeah.
So tell them some of the folks that you've worked with, man. You've performed in studio with.
Well, the most recent person that I worked with was well, I actually did a project for a friend of mine. Her name was Larita Gaskins. She was being produced by Bob Baldwin. Now, that was her project, but that was the most recent so-called celebrity that I had any affiliation with. But before him was Colonel Abrams, Melba Moore. Who else, man? There's a disco, what I call like a disco vocal group called Moment of Truth. A gentleman by the name of Ivory Caprice Bell. I worked with him. That was his group, Moment of Truth. They had a few hits out.
Okay.
They had a few hits out back in the day. When I think around that time, disco was kind of trying to dominate, and you still had like the R&B bands, the vocal, you know, predominantly vocal bands and instrumental and self-contained groups that were still surviving. Right. You know, I think I may have the era, the Moment of Truth time frame kind of mixed up, but I think it was around that time. I worked with him. I did some things with who was it? I said Melba Moore, Colonel Abrams. There's a few other people that I can't. The Marvelettes.
Okay. Little Bird told me about this guy named the Romantic Funny Man. Someone told me that you work with that dude. I've never seen the show or heard, you know, but
that cat. Listen, it was a pleasure for me to play behind that cat.
I was just trying to help you out a little bit with some of those folks. So maybe that would have ran some.
Well, listen, it hasn't been a lot, but you know, I mean, I've run into people like, you know, I've maybe jammed with cats, but I mean, you know, I don't like to name drop too much if it's a situation where I mean, like the gig I did with Melba Moore, I did 3 gigs with her, you know, and it was a pleasurable experience in the sense that, think about this: you at home back in the day watching TV, you know, you're the musician that you are, and you looking on TV and you say to yourself, wow, man, I'd like to play with them one day. And then you end up playing with them.
Right.
And Melba Moore was one of the people.
Well, I mean, you're not really name dropping. I mean, I asked you, so.
Well, true.
It's not like you're bringing it up. I mean,
right,
you know,
true.
And there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with the association, or because that's still, it's good. You have gifts, you're blessed, and you're working with folks that have gifts and are blessed, and it's just a beautiful thing. To You worked hard,
Yeah. Well,
and
you asked me. It's
God
true.
put you
You
in a
asked me.
position, man. To where I asked you, you didn't just start talking. If you
Right. Right.
started talking, I would just shut the mic. But
Right.
yeah, again,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's good to be blessed and humble, and that's what it is, and don't worry about it. Just tell it all. You know what I'm saying? You have to bask in that glory that God gave you, and it's all a
Yeah.
beautiful thing.
True that.
So let's kick it. We met 2017, formed the Legends of Soul show. We're gigging, we're doing gigs at all over the place, man. We did BB King's and did Jersey and did some stuff all over. Now, I know these questions, but for the folks that are out there, do you write? Are you a songwriter?
No, honestly, I can say that I'm not. I don't consider myself a composer. I
Mm-hmm.
am starting to want to do that now, because like every now and then I go through a phase where ideas come to me.
Mm-hmm.
And like I tell other people, sometimes I tell other people, listen, if an idea comes to you, write it down, record it if you're able to. Sometimes you be in a situation where you're traveling somewhere, and
Right. Yeah.
unless, I mean, if you're a lyricist, you can write stuff down. That's a little easier. But in terms of like really putting a composition together, or, I mean, you may be a lyricist or a vocalist where maybe you can record into your phone. I mean, there's different ways of putting it down.
Mm-hmm.
So there are ideas that have come to me, and I've been thinking about I mean, years ago I tried to start getting into some composing,
Uh-huh.
but things happen where you start becoming busy again, gigging wise. So I'm sitting at home learning songs.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that honestly is not really the greatest excuse, because if I really wanted to sit down and compose, that wouldn't have really been too much of an interruption, because I know people that are gigging that are still composing.
Sure.
So that's kind of a weak reason, kind of a not a greatest reason. But back then, my eagerness to compose is not as great as it is now, because I am trying, just gradually starting to put more time in it. Like I was telling you when we was before this show started,
Mm-hmm.
y'all didn't hear me on the audio because I didn't disengage my Focusrite interface. So I was recording something prior to the show.
Okay.
So to answer your question, yeah, I consider myself more of an arranger, really, honestly, because that's more of my gift.
Sure. From time to time, if people watching like to ask questions and drop stuff in, as you see. So there's a question from brother Derek Skin. I want to pop up here, and what advice would you give a parent whose child wants to enter the industry? Which is different, because most of it's what's the advice to someone who wants to get in. What advice would you give a parent whose child wants to enter into the industry?
I would tell the parent to definitely not discourage the child. You got some parents out there that when they think of themselves so much and don't think of the child, and this could be something that they're not even aware of. Sometimes you can discourage a child by saying, all right, yeah, we'll get to it. Like, say for instance, a child wants to learn the guitar.
Right.
Daddy, mommy, could I, because we, yeah, we'll get to it. And you don't realize that pushing aside
Mm-hmm.
for that moment. I mean, if you do it a lot, I'm not saying, because listen, if you're busy, you're busy.
Sure.
But if you're constantly doing that, you're already discouraging the child from wanting to pursue that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the first thing I tell the parent. Try to prevent yourself from discouragement. Heighten your encouragement.
Right.
And then number two to that is, along with the encouragement, whatever it is in the industry you want to pursue, let's say for guitar, since that's my instrument,
Mm-hmm.
have them learn the instrument. Now, the little sidebar to that, there's music out there that sounds so electronic,
Mm-hmm.
that, and you and I know this from, I guess, like maybe the mid 80s on, for a while, there was a lull in wanting to learn the organic instrument.
Right.
Coupled with the schools not keeping music in the school. So what's happening is, to add to the answer, to add to the number 2 point I was making, is learn the instrument, learn the voice, go to a voice teacher, learn woodwinds, horns, string instruments, learn the instrument if that's the pursuit, if that's the part of the industry you want to do. My thing is, whatever aspect of the industry you want to get into, learn it, because it's better to be ready with knowing your stuff. When the opportunity comes, you want to be able to show and prove. You can't show and prove if you don't know what you're doing.
Right. You're now, speaking of that, since thank you for that question, Derek. You're now teaching, though, because of the pandemic. You're doing some teaching.
Yeah. Well, what happened was, there was a colleague of mine. I'll drop his name, Gerald Thomas. Exceptional horn, plays all the horns, just about all the horns, bass, keyboard, exceptional cat. He told me, and mind you, Shawn, the teaching job, I've been doing that over a year now. This school, what happened was, Gerald, he had turned me on to the school, Black-owned music school in Queens Village, turned me on to the school, and they said, listen, I know of a school that's looking for a guitar teacher. And I have taught in the past, always was willing to teach. I just never advertised. I had, over the years that I've been playing since I was little, I can count on my hand the amount of students I've had, because like I said, I wasn't putting myself there to advertise. So anyway, when he came to me last summer, he said, there's a school looking for a guitar player. I went over there, I did the interview, and I've been working there since September of 2019.
Right.
So speaking of the shutdown, the school still stayed in effect. We just converted to virtual.
Is that difficult? Is that a little bit difficult more than being in person?
It's and this is depending on the instrument, what and the instructor. But for me, it's more difficult doing virtual for a brand new student. It's not impossible, but I'd rather not start a brand new student virtual.
Yeah.
And even the age gets to be a greater factor.
Right.
A brand new student, I really should be with them in person. Not that, like I said, it's not impossible, but it's just very difficult.
Yeah. Oh, that's great, man. So really quickly, I want to take a break in a second.
Okay.
Because we talked about the pandemic, and we can slide into the break on this. What plans do you have? Because we have to be optimistic. We still got to be safe. But what plans do you have moving forward once you're able to continue to make your moves? Let's say this thing settles and it gets out of the way.
Well, moving forward, I plan to, like I was talking earlier about, many years ago, I started songwriting, but wasn't really pushing aggressively to do it. I need to push more into doing that, the songwriting thing, and eliminate the procrastination. Because procrastination is a bad thing to have as part of your one's navigation. When you procrastinate, and this is for anything, procrastination is not a good thing for anything you're doing. And it's the same thing for me with my fitness thing. I wanted to start putting videos out. I've been wanting to do that for a long time. I keep procrastinating.
Right. Yeah, since you brought that back around, I still have a couple of minutes we can play with. Tell them about the fitness thing. Talk about
people who know me know that I used to be bigger, and it's not about size. I listen, I'm the first to tell you it's not about size.
Some ladies would beg to differ, but that's as much as I'll say about that.
Yeah,
keep it clean.
Keep it clean, sure. No, you're right. In all aspects, size can matter. But the reason I said that is because as part of I consider myself, this is the part of my art, the artistry in me. That I was talking about. I'm into fitness, being healthy, but being healthy by way of exercise. Mm-hmm. Now, there's a million people doing that. And I used to get into it to point to where I'm sculpting myself. That was the art part of me, i.e. bodybuilding.
Mm-hmm.
Now, people say, oh, you a bodybuilder? I never really considered myself a bodybuilder, because even though I went that route, because you have to look a certain way, that's what I was called. I mean, I did a couple of shows, but I only did it just to see how I would do.
Right.
Back in, I think it was the 90s, you know. So, but to answer your question real quick, because I know we're going to do a break. My thing is being healthy by way of physical resistance training. And there's a way to do that, whereas you don't have to be trying to be Mr. Olympia or be in the Olympics or be a high end athlete. There's a way to train your body. Listen, I always tell people, just move your body.
Yeah.
There's a technique to do that, to be fit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but that's the artist part of me. I consider myself a physique designer. Now, you're probably going to ask me, well, you have any clients? But the answer to that question would be no. Because I'm busy. I know I'm trying to run your show, right?
No, it's fine, man. I wasn't gonna ask you that, but it's cool. Go ahead and ask.
No, but that's part of that's my other passion, you know. And I mentioned that because of the procrastination part I spoke to.
Yeah, it's all good, man. Listen, look, this is just a conversation, man. I know it's show format, but we just talking. So do what you do, man. This is about you, and I'm not gonna put up any of these little comments that people are making. There's only two. Well, I can put this one up, and then we can keep it easy. Josephine says, yes, Glenn was very sculpted. We put that one up there, and I won't put up Tony's because that's going to open up another can of worms. Maybe I'll put it up after the show. Yeah, and I got it. She knows better. So yeah, I wanted to get that in, man. Cool. So here's what we're gonna do, man. We're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna come back with more of Glenn Gibson. We're gonna get into finding out about Glenn's love opinion side now. But wait a minute, I can get this up. Stephanie Gibson.
Oh no, that's my sister.
Says yes, yeah, but we didn't get any of his competitions, so we could check out dudes. I think that's a personal thing, Stephanie. What do you mean we? I don't think Glenn wanted to check out any dudes. See, he tried to drag you into that one.
You know, I think what she meant was there was a show, and I could be wrong. Stephanie will correct me when she texts me or call me.
Yeah,
there was a show that they tried to make, and they got, I don't know if she was with them. This could be it. They were coming to a show I was doing. I only did like 2 or 3 bodybuilder shows, all natural, by the way. Okay, none of this steroid stuff. And they didn't make it because they got lost. But it wasn't my sister driving it. I think that's the one she's talking about when she says we. But she'll correct me. I'll let you know later after the show. John.
All right, cool. All right, so let's jump off, take a quick break, come right back in the second half. The second half, we're going to put Mr. Glenn D Gibson on the Romantic Funny Man's love seat and see how he can handle that.
Oh, boy.
And Tony's trying to direct because I direct her show. She's trying to direct my show, and look what she said about her comment. No, I'm not going to do that. Oh, no. Anyway,
she's funny, man. She's funny.
Yeah, so we're going to take a quick one and come right back with more Glenn D Gibson on After Dark with Shawn Cornelius.
All right.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to the show. We're in our second half now. This one's kind of fired up now. Glenn has come in and set the tone with some of his comments. So we're going to put him on like we do every guest in the second half. We're going to put you on the Romantic Funny Man's love seat, Glenn, and see what you think and give you your opinions on some topics within romance, love, relationships, intimacy.
All right.
Tip, you ready?
Yep.
All right, brother. Here we go. First one. What is your definition of love, and why is it important to you?
I was hoping you wasn't going to ask me that question you asked her last night.
I did. I asked every guest the same.
Oh, okay. Question. All right. It's
standard.
It's standard.
Yeah, because everybody has different answers. So
wow,
you're on, brother.
What is my definition of love? Love is an emotion that is, Love is love is an emotion that can be expressed to another individual in a number of ways that give them a feeling of comfort, so security, emotional security, spiritually can be thrown in there too, depending on, I mean, there's so many variations, but love is an emotion that is expressed upon another individual that feels that same emotional attachment that you're emitting.
Okay.
That's a short answer. I mean, it's really more involved than that, but that's
listen,
the best I could,
And it's your answer, so it's not right or wrong. I'm not judging. Nobody's judging.
It's
Now,
just hard to put into words. That's the thing,
I don't know. Okay, I'll take that too. Well, okay. So then, the way you described it and gave me that definition, why is that important to you?
Because my thing is, if you're about being you're a human being that wants to be or should want to be, it's beyond respect, but it's important to me in the sense that you're giving your fellow man a feeling of heightened camaraderie, some degree of emotional attachment, again, where they're feeling that emotional security, and it's a sharing. It's a positive sharing between you and that other individual. That's why it's important, really important, because if they're not getting anything from what you're trying to give them on a positive tip emotionally, then you're not succeeding,
Okay. All right. We'll move on with that. We'll take that one. What does romance? What is your definition of romance, and why is that important to you?
The romance is the act of showing that love.
Okay. And why?
Or being romantic. Romance, being romantic, different forms of the word, is how you engage that love. Because see, love, yes, I did say before that you want to, like when you asked me about why is that important, it's important because you're making the other person feel what you're feeling, and you should want to make your fellow man feel at ease, at home, or whatever you have to yourself, right? The romance or romance being romantic, or the romance of it, is how you execute that.
Okay. All right. And I guess you expressed that why it's important to you on that level. So on that conversation, on a scale of 1 to 10, Mr. Gibson, where do you fit on the scale? How romantic are you?
Ooh. on the scale, I would give myself between 7 and 8.
Okay. Now that's all. Okay. So stop there. Give us an example of why you would say you're about a 7 or an 8. What have you done in your romantic exhibition which will put you at 7 or 8? Mind your business, Tony Young. I'm gonna leave there. Tony was on the love seat before too. I can't put it up because that'll help you with your answers.
See, the thing is, the 7 or 8, it's like an average of all the times I've been romantic. But now you want to answer to how romantic I can be.
Just give an example. Yes, give us an example. I think she's trying to boost you to a 9. Tony said she thinks you're a 9. You said 7 or 8. I don't know where she gets that thought from.
It could be she might be confusing that with charm. And I'm not trying to blow myself up. I'm not trying to blow myself up, but because I just met Tony and she and I have a good, we have a good vibe. It could be my natural friendliness and charm, and, if you will, slight flirtation, because I can be flirtatious. Doesn't mean a whole lot, but that could be what she's equating it with.
All right.
But anyway, to move on to answer you.
Yeah, brother, because I'm gonna reel you back in and make sure you answer these questions. Get with
Yeah.
it. Let's go.
Okay. Say for instance, see, because a lot of this has to do with you knowing the person. So to answer your question,
no, stop. Right. Okay, I'm gonna let you answer. Then I'll see if that'll be the answer. Go ahead.
Okay. If it's somebody that I know, say for instance, likes wine, red wine. Let's just use this for an example. Red wine. I happen to know what her favorite red wine is, but she doesn't know I know. Right? Maybe I found out from a friend of hers. I mean, this young lady may have different wines that she likes, but I never knew what her favorite was. So I purchased this red wine, had the red wine at the crib, or it could be her crib, my crib or her crib, have petals, roses leading up to that wine, and a meal ready with a candlelight. That's a form of being romantic. See, part of the romance is for me, part of romance, there's a percentage of surprise that can be involved with that, because when they're surprised, that heightens that feeling of oh, I really like this cat. You know.
Okay, listen. All right. Now, is this something you've done? Because remember, the question was, give me an example of something you've done that exhibits your level, your 7 or 8. Is this something you've done, or you're just giving me an example?
I'm giving you an example of something that's similar to what I've done. But Shawn, let me tell you, it's been a long time, man.
Oh, and look, but it's okay.
No,
I mean, what's funny to me? No, I'm not laughing at you. I'm kind of laughing because it's really cool. Like, you're not the first person on the hot seat, the love seat, that will give me these kind of answers, So I'm giggling. Denise knows. I can see her and Smoke. I can see them in the green room smiling,
laughing.
Yeah. It's cool. So all right, so we got that. No pressure, man. I don't want you to burn yourself up. We got.
Yeah, I am, because I am still thinking about
we got a few more coming. So don't be easy on your brain and your heart.
Yeah, man. Okay. It's like what have you done for me lately type of stick I'm going.
All right, here we go. The next one. I'll be a little easy on you. Names, and these are the same questions, honestly, that I ask every day.
It's cool.
Cool. Give me 3 things that attract you to a woman.
Legs, personality. There's a third thing. Legs, personality. Oh, and well, it's kind of in the same vein, but there are 2 different things. Intelligence.
Okay, yeah, they're different.
Because personality and intelligence are 2 different things.
Yes, it is. Yes, totally.
Those 3 things, definitely. That was an easy question.
All right, yeah, I had to give you one because I know I saw your brain burning. So I said, let me pull back a little.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Here's the next one. 3 things that you dislike that aren't attractive to you about women.
The first thing that pops into my mind, 3 things. Mm-hmm. One is the emphasis on I don't need the man.
Okay.
Number 2, being loud. And even though that can, you could say that about guys too. That is something that I don't like. Okay. I mean, yeah. Being like boisterous unnecessarily. See, there's like you can handle your business out there in the world because you have to. What I'm talking about is overkill. Because you just want to be sassy.
Sure.
So, and the third thing is that I don't like with a woman. Ooh, I can't say there's anything else. I mean,
it's gotta be. Gotta be. I ain't trying to force nothing, but there's gotta be.
All right, I don't need a man. I don't need a man to do my stuff. Being boisterous, and you don't take care of yourself, whether it be the hygiene or how you carry yourself, your external person.
Right.
That's
Okay.
the third one. Yes.
Okay. All right. Cool. I didn't mean to push you or
No, but
manipulate.
but you're right. That was there too. That was in there. I just couldn't pull it out. That was
All
there.
right. Here we go. Your relationship is fine, but you have to take. You got three things that are going on in your relationship. You have respect, you have honesty, you have trust. But you have to get rid of one of them, and your relationship will survive. Which one are you getting rid of? Out of respect, honesty, trust.
Ooh. Respect, honesty, and trust. Respect.
Okay. Okay. All right. Cool. You're walking down the street. You see a old Mad Dog 2020 bottle. You kick it. Out comes a genie. It's the romantic funny man. He's a genie. And he says to you, Glenn D Gibson, you have one wish. You can one wish for love, and you will have a successful relationship forever. What would you wish for?
Well, because it's that genie, I would say that you would allow me to continue playing in the LOS band, but be up front and do the table scene. No, okay.
You just went so far left that nobody even knows what
I know.
They saw the show.
They have to see the show. Yeah, because that's an inside joke.
Yeah.
Repeat that again. I want to make sure I understand it before I answer. Make sure. Say it again.
You kick a Mag Dog 2020.
Genie comes out.
Genie comes out. You have one wish. You can have one wish for a successful relationship. What would you wish for?
The greatest compatibility you can have with the partner.
Okay. Yeah,
being equally yoked. Other people know what I mean by that.
Right. No, that's a good one. Now let me throw this up here and see if this young lady is correct. You said you would let go of respect out of all three, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ivy says respect is trust. Do you agree or disagree? She's saying those are the same things.
Yeah, and she makes a very good point, but they can be separate in a way. Let me tell you why. And respect in itself is very broad. You can trust somebody to, say, perform a particular function for you, or be or do something you ask of them. I don't have to respect you to trust you to do that.
Right. I agree.
So I don't have to respect you to trust you to. I mean, and it could be a myriad of things. I'm just mentioning about, say, there's a particular task or whatever it is that has been expected of a person that has been asked to do something. You don't have to respect the person to have them be trusted to execute that. But the statement she made can be true depending on the situation. It's really a case by case.
In this scenario, it's not true. And she corrected me, EFAT, but it's not the same thing. Respect is an admiration for someone on a certain level. Trust is a firm belief in the reliability, truth, ability, or strength of someone. That's just the dictionary definitions. But in this sense, the three, they're separate. So I just want to toss that up there. That's good conversation. Good conversation.
Yeah, it's definitely. It was a fair statement.
Yeah, of course. Okay, so you ready? We ready to move on with this?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Give the women out there that are watching some advice about dating men. You have a minute.
Okay, the advice I would give to women about dating men is, wow, they already know, but well, I guess some of them may not know. I would actually, could I narrow it down to saying that I'm speaking more to the younger sisters, or the younger people?
It's women. So women, period.
Okay, the advice I would give to women about dating
Yeah,
men
it could be younger women.
is to how do they call it let me see, to I'm trying to think of a word that, I mean, I don't want to talk about politics, but there's a word that's used in politics when they're investigating somebody for a particular position. Vetting. Vetting. To what in any way they can vet whatever the gentleman tells you. Like if he's whatever he says about himself. Now, different things that are said, you can't always check it, but in that vetting process, there's different ways of doing that. Um, Time sometimes allows you to do that, which brings me to my second point. Don't rush into anything. And I'm not just talking about sexual intercourse. I'm talking about not just that. There are other things. There's a deepness that two people can reach too quickly, and the advice is to take your time with that gentleman, because listen, that gentleman could be the one, but he could be the totally opposite and be a knucklehead, a rapist, or what have you. I mean, I hear stories, man, that go down. The person can present themselves in such a way that, oh man, this cat, oh man, so that's my advice, to vet conversation coming from him, his part of the dialogue, and allow time to do that. The other thing, to get into a little more specifics, these dating sites, be safe, which is part of what I was saying before, that it's what I'm speaking to is safety, really. I'm speaking to the safety factor.
Sure.
Safety, bodily safety, and your heart safety.
Gotcha.
That's the advice I would give to women when they're dealing with men out here.
I'm not giggling at you.
No, I know. I know.
I'm reading some stuff. Smoke says, in other words, let me put this up. In other words, do background checks.
That can be part of it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I said, the vetting, there's different ways. I mean, if a guy says to you, yeah, man, I got my own business, and I'm very successful. Well, there's ways to find that out. Time can take care of that. I mean, some things you just don't find out that day or night. Whatever you're talking to the individual, there's things that are said in the conversation that you can't find out right now. But the preface to everything I said is, take your time.
Sure. And yes, men move fast and women move fast.
Yeah, both genders do.
So I'm just responding to some of the stuff over here, because this is your advice to people, and it's your advice. So, all right, Glenn. So let's move into one of the final parts of the show, and this should be all right with you. You should be able to slide off the love seat off of this. I'm going to play this game with you that I play called Favorite Sevens. I'm just going to say something, and you're going to give me your favorite. All right? All right, here we go. Favorite food?
Lasagna with using ground turkey.
All right. Favorite all-time song?
Knocks Me Off My Feet by Stevie Wonder.
All right. Favorite movie?
Born Free.
Favorite book you've ever read?
Man, I'm not really a book reader that I've ever read.
You've ever read, yeah. So it doesn't have to be something recent.
I can't. You got to skip, Shawn.
No, I'm sure you've read a book.
Yeah, but I can't remember because
I'll come back to it. To it.
All right.
I did this for somebody else. They had to pass on it. So if we come back and you can't get it, then I'll throw something else at you.
All right.
All right. So let's go. Favorite vacation spot?
Ooh, favorite vacation spot. Vacation spot. You got to come back to that too. Seriously.
You've been to a lot of places, I gather.
Yeah, but I mean,
all right. So
yeah.
I'll come back around. So you can think about it. You got favorite book and favorite vacation spot. Give me your favorite all-time TV show.
Favorite all-time TV show was a show that a lot of people don't, first of all, never heard of, and maybe not even remember. A show called THE Cat or Wild Wild West, but I'd say THE Cat with Robert Loggia.
Okay, all right. Favorite time of the day in the 24-hour period for lovemaking?
12 o'clock at night.
Okay, midnight. And favorite vacation spot?
Oh man, yeah, I was trying to think of it while you were asking me the other questions.
All right, I'll give you something different. Favorite chord? Favorite musical chord?
Oh man, E major 9. But they ain't gonna know that.
But that's all. But it ain't about them. It's about you. This is you, and they have to look that up if they want to know. Or you teach them. Holler to Glenn and let him teach you. Listen, man. I'm movable. I got movable parts, Glenn. I'm good. I can work this. All right. Let me give you another one. Let me give you one more since we skipped the two. Favorite celebrity female crush?
Oh wow, favorite celebrity female crush would be Angela Bassett.
That's a sweet one. All right. Josephine says she thought you would say G Clef.
Funny.
So that must be a personal inside joke.
Who said that?
Josephine. She said, I thought he would say G Clef. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah.
All right, man. So Glenn Gibson, with that answer, I am now removing you off the love seat. That was kind of tough, right? That was kind of tough.
Man. Right. That was tougher than the love question.
You stalled a little bit. But all right, Glenn, man, please let them know where they can find you on social media, follow you, or catch up with you, and leave them with a word of positivity.
You're welcome, Tyreek. It was a pleasure seeing you at the movie, my brother. Words of okay. You can find me on Facebook, Glenn D Gibson Sr. Instagram, Glenn D Gibson, or Glenn D Gibson 1, as in the numeral 1. LinkedIn, you put in my name for LinkedIn, and that's it. I don't tweet and all this other stuff. Just Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. That's it.
All right, and your positive message.
Positive message is to don't allow yourself to be part of, or don't answer drama that comes to you, and don't be one to give off just being angry. And I know people got a lot going on in their lives, but trying to be cordial to the next person can go a long way in just having a pleasant existence.
Cool. All right, Glenn, man. I want to thank you so much, brother. You know I love you, man. Appreciate everything that you've been able to do for me and show me and educate me and just support me. Thank you for being a part of the film, which we didn't mention, the Whatever It Takes, the movie, When Blood Runs Cold.
Right.
And it was awesome. I wrote a song, and Glenn actually sang the song in the movie, but it didn't make the cut. But it was awesome to have you and some of the other fellas from the band in that movie. So if you want to see that movie, catch up with me, and you can check out Glenn in the film and some other people. So that's about it, y'all. Thank you, Facebook. Thank you for everyone who chimed in. Thank you for everyone who tried to be who tried to oppose and be tough and cause trouble, you ladies out there, for Glenn and I. But we appreciate you and love you. And as I always say in parting, please go with God in your heart. Have a peace of mind. Have a wonderful, wonderful tomorrow. And please, y'all, continue to be safe. Please be safe.
And I thank you for having me, Shawn. Thanks a lot, man.
Hey, man, anytime you want to come back, you could come back and we can hang out, do this again. You know, so from Lula Mae and Cornelius, his baby boy, I'm Shawn Cornelius, the romantic, funny man, saying good night, God bless you. Catch you around the corner from After Dark with Shawn Cornelius.